Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third International Conference on ASEAN. Privilege for me to be a part of this conference and serve you as a master of ceremony and facilitator for today and tomorrow activities. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the presidents of Thaksin Universities, Associate Professors Dr. Nathapong Chitniratna, the Dean of the International College, as well as the Chair of ICASD 2026, Dr. Pitayathorn Keukong, the co-chairpersons of this conference, Dr. Yijin Kim and Mr. Abdul Fattah Masame, for their invaluable support and leadership. We would like also to say thanks to all co-hosts and partners, Myanmar Creative University, Scientists and Engineers Without Borders, Korean Associations in Thai Studies, China, Laos, Thailand High-Speed Railway Impact Research Center, South and Southeast Studies Institute, Yunnan Minzu University, China, Faculty of Law, Faculty of Agro and Bioindustry, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Multidisciplinary Science and Entrepreneurship, Faculty of Economics and Business Administrations, as well as our partners, Sentient Lemon Technology Co. Ltd. and Elan Foundation. We would like to extend our warm welcome to all guests, keynote speakers, and participants. Welcome to the third International Conference on ASEAN Sustainable Development, or ICASD 2026. We are honored to host this event for the third time here in Thailand, especially at Crystal Hotel Hat Yai. For your information, this international conference is held for 2 days, from today and until tomorrow. And this morning, we will have the opening ceremony, and we are honored to welcome 2 guest speakers who will present an interesting and, of course, insightful topics for us today. And in the afternoon sessions, we will have the presentations, which is divided into parallel sessions. Details can be found in the abstract book provided in your online registration. After the presentations, on the evening sessions, there will be an announcement of outstanding and honorable presentations and a closing ceremony. And of course, for the exciting activities, we also look forward to seeing you tomorrow for a site visit in Songkhla. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's start with a short video of presentations as the introductions of Thaksin University. Please kindly direct your attention to the screen.
Thaksin University, the University of Globalization. Thaksin University, University of Social Innovation. We have announced our values of TSU Move, which is the change to the future. This means to provide foundation of being prepared with all resources of our university, with knowledge, sciences, and research. It is striving forward to become unite to create sustainable development. To get students ready for the workforce, ready for the future world, TSU for All is newly innovated learning pattern of Thaksin University, including in-class learning, mixed learning, on-site learning, online learning, and work-site training. We are categorized in the second group universities, innovative and technology universities. We are encouraging researcher capacity development. At present, Thaksin University helps in establishing TSU Enterprise, which is a holding company. This is an important mechanic that drives innovative business and uses IP or intellectual property in a commercial aspect. Rubber, an important economic crop in the South. The new innovations are that used for adding value to existing capital. We have put an attempt to promote and support the establishment of rubber entrepreneurs. Now we make use of rubber, which is locally produced, and turn it into teaching materials and models, which are of equal quality of ones from overseas. We are the University of Globalization, aiming to develop social innovation based on arts, culture, and local wisdom. The knowledge is exchanged and learned within Southeast Asia through research projects and collaborative agreement through MOU. Students can showcase their art pieces here to promote the learning of local arts and society. Then they can create an artwork. For SDG achievement of Thaksin University, the first one is Poverty Elevation Project Operating Model, offer knowledge and innovation to develop skills of local people. The second example is TSUS enlisted in UI Green Metric World University rankings that enable us to add green area to our campuses. We also switch to use more clean energy. Solar panels have been installed to use solar energy to lower the cost of electricity. We choose to use electrical vehicle instead of conventional cars. The money from lowering electricity will be used to improve student qualities of life. Museum World Ranking position the Institute of Southern Thai Study as a cultural hub and a creative cultural space in the field of folklore and contemporary culture, aiming at connecting the creation of cultural value and worth and the utilization of cultural capital. Connect root to earth, from the earth to arts. Thaksin University, the University of Globalization.
Thank you very much for your kind of attentions. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to welcome and then say hello to those audience who watch us in online platform, especially WTSU, and as well as the YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are honored to present a performance that celebrates the identity and the spirit of Songkhla. Songkhla Metropolis, from the roots to the world, takes us on a journey through a vibrant multicultural city, rich with the traditions, arts, and natural abundance. This performance reflects a deep-rooted pride of its people, shaping citizens of qualities who are ready to collaborate and grow together. With unity and vision, Songkhla continues to move forward, embracing innovations and technology to build a prosperous and modern future. Please welcome and enjoy the performance, Songkhla Metropolis, from roots to the world. One more round of applause, everyone. What such a wonderful performance. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we will invite you to witness a creative showcase of transformations and innovations. Thaksin University's Growing into the Future illustrates the dynamic growth of the digital world and the powers of global advancement. Inspired by the metamorphosis of butterfly, and this performance began with the digital cocoon, symbolizing a period of learning, nurturing, and technological development. For this stage, it evolved into a meaningful butterfly, ready to soar and lead society towards sustainable and progressive future. Please welcome Thaksin University's Growing into the Future. What such a lovely performance. Thank you very much for your informations. All the performances were performed by students from Faculty of Fine and Applied Arts of Thaksin University. One more. Please give a round of applause for their performance, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we will bring you to the opening session, opening speech by our chair of ICASD 2026. And for this, I would like to invite Dr. Pitayathon Keikong to come to the stage in delivering the welcoming speech of our event.
Okay. Good morning. Mr. President, Vice President, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's truly a pleasure to stand here today to see such a wonderful gathering for International Conference on ASEAN Sustainable Development 2026. On behalf of the International College, Thaksin University, I'd like to sincerely thank all of you for being part of this event. For your participation have made this experience not only successful, but also meaningful and memorable. To our organizing team, thank you for your hard work, creativity, and dedication behind the scenes. This event is a reflection of your passion and teamwork, and I'm very proud of what you have accomplished today. To our speakers, participants, thank you for sharing your ideas, experiences, and perspectives. And to our co-hosts, our partners, we deeply appreciate your continued trust and collaboration with us. ICASD 2026 is more than just an event. It's a space where people come together to learn, connect, and grow. I hope all of you fill your day with not only knowledge, but also new friendship and great memories. Thank you once again for being here with us today. Wishing you all very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pitayathon Keikong, for your warm welcome and thoughtful words. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the presidents of Thaksin University's Associate Professors, Dr. Natapong Chitniratna, who will join us on the stage and listen together as Dr. Yejin Kim, the co-chairpersons of ICASD 2026, in delivering his reporting speech.
His Excellency, Mr. President of the Thaksin University, and good morning, distinguished executive and respective guests and colleagues and participants. This is a great honor to report the progress of the third International Conference on ASEAN Sustainable Development 2026, which is being held under the theme Innovative and Appropriate Sustainable Development in the Digital Era. As of 15 March 2026, the ICASD, this conference received a total of 107 articles among the 5 tracks. People had the highest number with 42 articles, and followed the planet with 30 articles, and prosperity and partnership each had 17 articles, while the peace has only 1 article. In terms of the presentation format, the conference included 54 oral presentations and 26 poster presentations and 27 online presentations. This reflects strong and diverse academic participation from various institutions. Regarding attendance, we are expecting a total of 177 participants, including 150 participants on site and 27 online participants. Among them, 85 are young researchers. This is one of the most meaningful achievements of the ICASD 2026. As it shows that conference serves as a valuable platform, not only for the experienced scholar, but also for the next generation of researchers. Overall, this conference reflects growing academic collaborations and reinforces the important role of the Thaksin universities in advancing sustainable development through research, partnership, and innovation. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and thank you so much, Mr. President.
Today is a good day. I miss old friends. Meeting new friends is like a precious gift. Meeting old friends is like finding jewels in life. I hope that this conference, you all will receive this precious gift and jewels of life. Distinguished guests, esteemed keynote speakers, honorable scholars, researchers, and participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and privilege to warmly welcome you all to Thaksin University. Thaksin University or Christian Hotel. Welcome to the third international conference on Asian Sustainable Development 2026 hosted by Thaksin University. This year's conference held under the theme Innovative and Appropriate Sustainable Development in the Digital Era reflect our shared commitment to addressing the complex challenges for our time through innovation, collaboration, and responsible development. In the bunny world, the World Economic Forum states, the world is grappling with polycrisis, a series of compound, severe, and interconnected challenges with no apparent ends. It may be true, the world is not merely transitioning towards sustainable development, but is rather in a state of rupture. This marks the end of pleasant fiction and the beginning of harsh reality. A compelling proposal to address this is the need to foster new cooperation and create a new dialogue that reflect our core values, democratic development, environmental stewardship, human rights, and the peaceful coexistence of all citizens and living beings in order to transition toward true sustainability. I sincerely hope that the International Conference on Asian Sustainable Development 2026 will serve as a pivotal opportunity to build this new dialogue. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our co-hosts, partners, organizing committee, keynote speakers, and participants from various countries whose contributions have made this conference possible. Your presence here today truly reflects the spirit of international cooperation. I sincerely hope that ICASD 2026 will inspire fruitful discussion, further new partnership, and lead to impactful research and practical solutions for the sustainable future of global community. Finally, I wish you all successful, productive, and inspiring conference and the resilience to keep smiling in the face of our harsh world every single day. Stop the war and create world peace with love. ขอบคุณและสวัสดีครับ
Thank you very much, the President of Thaksin University, Associate Professors Dr. Natapong Chitniratna. Please stay on stage because we still have the appreciation. Okay. And I would like also say thank you to Dr. Yejin Kim as the co-chairpersons of ICASD 2026 on his reporting speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will now come to the session with special appreciation and present a souvenir to our keynote speakers. And for this, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Bongchul Kim to receive the appreciation. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Bongchul Kim, and please be seated. The next one, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim to receive the appreciation. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim, and please be seated. For the President, please remain on stage as we'll now proceed with the special appreciation and present a souvenir to our co-hosts and partners. And for this, I would like to invite the representative of Myanmar Creative University, or MCU. Thank you very much. And the next one, we would like to invite the Scientists and Engineers Without Borders, or SEWB. Thank you very much for the representative of Scientists and Engineers Without Borders. For the next one, we would like to invite Korean Associations of Thai Studies. Thank you very much. The next one, China, Laos, Thailand High-Speed Railway Impact Research Center. Thank you very much. The next one, South and Southeast Studies Institute, Yunnan Minzu University, China. Thank you very much. For the next one, from Faculty of Law. We would like to invite the representative of Faculty of Law. Okay, so now we will proceed to our partners. Okay. One more time, we will invite from Faculty of Law. Thank you very much. Now we would like to invite our partners as well, Shenzhen Limon Technology Co. Ltd. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Elan Foundation. Thank you very much. Thank you again to the President's Associate Professors Dr. Natapong Chitniratna for your generous participation. You may now return to have a seat and we will continue with the next program. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to ask all the participants, along with the President, to please stand up for the photo session. Okay, one more time, all the participants in this room, please stand up and we will have the photo session. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Oh, still one more video. Okay. So please stand up again, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you very much, and please be seated again. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the keynote lecture session. And it's my pleasure to introduce to our first speaker, Professor Dr. Bongchul Kim, who will share insight on middle power countries in the digital age, Korea and Thailand. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Dr. Bongchul Kim is a professor in the divisions of international studies and the directors of the HUFS Jen Monnet Centers of Excellence. He also served as the president of Korean Associations of Thai Studies. His teaching and research focus on international economic and trade law, development law, and regional and international relations law. Professor Kim earned his bachelor's in law and master of law at HUFS in 1999 and 2004. Respectively, he completed his PhD in law at King's College London in 2009. We're privileged to invite you today and his profound insight on middle power countries in the digital age, Korea and Thailand. Without further ado, please welcome Professor Dr. Bongchul Kim.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, very nice to meet you. Sawadee ka. Yeah. I'm Bongchul Kim from Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, Seoul, Korea. And also I'm a chairperson of Korean Association of Thai Study, with the group of academic scholars in Korea who are specialized in the Thai study. My major is law, international law. So you may say that, oh, this area is very far from Thai study. But fortunately, our university has a very special department. That is the Department of Thai Study in our university. When I joined the faculty members about 17 years ago in my university, Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, my colleagues, she was the professor of Department of Thai Studies. So she invited me to join to the Korean Association of Thai Studies, and now I'm here. Today, I will talk about the new trend of digital age, Korea and Thailand altogether, they are middle power country. Not big boys in the international societies, but they have their own role for the international societies. However, middle power country, we can define a bit different ways in following new trend. In a digital age, middle power countries can be defined in a bit different ways, and Korea and Thailand, they must be a middle power country in the international group in digital age. So today we will talk about the new role for two countries as a middle power countries. Okay. Traditional international societies, we define that, yes, thank you very much, middle power country is defined by the different ways. Power, military power, or economic influences. However, in a digital age, the middle power country must be defined with different ways. Korea is a small country between big boys, such as China and Japan. So we can call this small country as a middle power country. What about Thailand? ASEAN members, 10 or 11 members in Southeast Asia. Thailand is not a big country following the concept of traditional definition. However, Thailand, they have a very, very special role in international societies. Even if they are not so big, however, they are very important. So we can call Thailand as a middle power country in the international societies. In a digital age, Thailand is becoming more important than before. So Thailand and Korea, two countries, they can make their own role. Maybe with the cooperation, they can do more in the international societies. Korea, the icon of digital. You may know the Samsung. My notebook computer is from Samsung Electronics. My mobile phone, Galaxy, from Samsung. And LG and many digital-related company, they are doing their business work in international societies. And recently, Korean government, they wanted to more in the international society with digital something. After the COVID-19, as you and as we remember, digital devices, digital area became much more important than before. For example, so many people, they prefer to watch the movie from Netflix rather than traditional theater. Digital age changed our lifestyle. Korea had to follow this situation, and they made many good progress. Korean movie, Korean drama, K-pop music, not just Gangnam Style, but also BTS and Blackpink. Oh, not me. I'm not the Korean idol. So, the small country, Korea, is becoming more important than before regarding digital issues. So this small country, they are trying to find out their own role in international societies. Not just for their business, but also political issues, but also development issues for the assistance of the other countries. Let's move on to our friend Thailand. Thailand, in the Southeast Asian region, this country is becoming more important than before, especially regarding to the digital situation. Comparing to the other Southeast Asian countries, Thai government and Thai companies, they opened their eyes to the digital new trend situation. So in ASEAN members, these countries, they are seeking to make more important role to help other countries. Not just for the Thailand itself, but also to help other neighboring countries in Southeast Asia. Thai government, they are doing many jobs for that purpose, such as digital ecosystems, building infrastructure regarding digital issues, fintech, for example, and e-commerce. This country is the most developed country in Southeast Asia regarding e-commerce, fintechs, and the other digital issues. Therefore, Thailand, they have to do something to help other Southeast Asian neighboring countries. In the international societies, we are in the changing of international societies in the digital trade. Middle power countries such as Korea and Thailand, we are swimming in the digital trend. Economic diversification with the technology, with the digital devices, with the internet environment. So, new global standard, AI, and cybersecurity issues becoming much more important than before. So, two middle power countries, they are very important middle power country in the international societies to do something in a digital era, following new trend. It's not just about the military power. It's not just about the economic influences. It is about digital effect in the international societies. So these two countries have to find out new role in the international societies. Korea and Thailand, we are doing digital journey in the swimming pool of digital environment. So commonly, two countries are doing various types of strategies and policies and regulation regarding digital technologies and AI and the other things. Now we can talk about another concept that is soft power, public diplomacy. This is very new concept. Korea and Thailand, they are very, very famous for their own taste, colors, cultures, and song, etc. So even if they are middle power countries, but they have their own specific colors in the international societies. In the digital environment, their characteristic point can boost these two countries, can do more than before. However, we know that in the digital era, we have many challenges, not always positive impact. But also in the digital societies, we have many negative aspects as well. Sometimes it is very, very easy to be in the criminal issues in a digital era. Internet can make good point for our lifestyle, but sometimes it is very, very big obstacle for our life as well. So we can boost the positive impact of digital. And also, we have to reduce the negative aspect of digital. Korea and Thailand, together, they have to do something for this purpose. I made the example, cybersecurity. We have to protect ourselves, our individual person, and government, and the companies, and our societies from our invisible enemy. So cybersecurity is very important. Domestic digital divide, this is one of the important problems in recent days. Some people in our society can enjoy good Wi-Fi systems, good digital devices. However, many people still, they cannot use internet or digital environment. So the gaps between two different groups may make social problems. So we have to try to do our best to reduce these gaps. Korean government, Thai government, we have to do that. What about the gaps between the countries and among the countries? For example, in ASEAN members, Thai is one of the developed country in the digital environment. But neighboring country, they couldn't use the good internet service. Then we can help our neighbor countries. Global competition from superpowers. The president mentioned about the war. Yes, this is very serious problem. But middle power countries, we cannot control these things. So we can make our clues to help other people from those kind of risky situations. Government of middle power countries, research groups, universities, company can do something to improve a little bit more peace, as President mentioned. So we can do that. Only middle power countries, not big boys. Let's talk about a bit more positive things. We have many opportunities for middle power countries. We have abilities to improve the technologies or digital environment system. And also, Korea and Thailand, we can do together to improve or to make a standard of Asian digital situations. Therefore, two middle power countries in the Northeast Asia and Southeast Asia, we can make the strategic cooperation. For example, Korea's AI standard can be a kind of initiative. And also Thailand FinTech Sandbox, these programs can be a good model for the neighboring countries. Two middle power countries, they can collaborate together to overcome the problems of war and international standard as well. This is just a small individual, my opinions. Regional cooperation, we can say that, we can imagine that this cooperation is very big, and it is sometimes very far from our normal life. But middle power country to middle power country, we can regard that, yeah, this is not so far from our lives. Korea and Thailand, with good model of our soft power, we can combine together the digital lifestyle. Those kind of cooperation can be some small clues to solve our social problems as well. I think this is the last slide. Oh, one more. So in the digital era, we have to redefine the status of middle power. Korea and Thailand, two countries truly is middle power countries. And we are seeking to be a new role in international societies with the digital era to help other countries to develop ourselves, making our own model, our own standard. It can be a good seed for our economic growth and assistance to the other countries as well. I think that this is the real last slide. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Bangchul Kim, for your insightful explanations. We truly appreciate your perspective. And ladies and gentlemen, just to highlight what Professor Kim's already explained, especially about the explorations of middle power countries in the digital age, and focusing on Korea and Thailand, it's truly vital. And in the world, increasingly shape a digital connectivity, both Thailand and Korea, as the middle powers are finding innovative ways to leverage digital tools to enhance the regional influence. One more time, please give a round of applause to Professor Bangchul Kim. For now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the session for the next keynote lecture speakers. And for this, it's my honor to introduce our second keynote speakers, Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim. As a slice of information, Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim is a distinguished scholar in exercise medicines with a focus on musculoskeletal system in medical sciences. Beyond his medical expertise, he is deeply committed to environmental sustainability, especially in marine conservation and coral restoration. Today, he will share with us an important perspective on coral sustainability and restorations, highlighting innovations that bridge marine biology and marine engineering. This topic is crucial as coral reefs are one of the lifeblood of marine ecosystem, and their preservation is key to the sustainable futures of our oceans. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim.
Okay, right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Good morning, everyone. The distinguished chairs, the presidents of Thaksin University, industry partners, ladies and gentlemen. This is my great pleasure to be together with all of you in this conference, International Conference of Asian Sustainable Development 2026. And for today, I'm going to bring all of you, right, on the importance of coral restoration and also how is basically we can connect the science and also engineering to bring this important treasure to make it sustain, right? As mentioned by by the speaker today. My name is Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim, and I am from Management and Science University. And basically, my background is not as the marine biologist, as mentioned just now. I am the exercise medicine specialist. But when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about the things that we need to do, it must be beyond of our expertise. Like MSU, we have implementing one of the project. We call it as the My Coral project. This is basically a coral restoration effort organized by the Management and Science University. And for your information, it's basically organized by the International Medical School itself, whereby it's very different with the area of marine biology or even engineering. We are basically a group of students, basically a medical group of students. But when we talk about the responsibility of us contributing something to the earth, this is where our role takes place. For example, to make the sustainability of our marine ecosystem, it's not necessary we need to have or be in the marine biologist to contribute to the nature. We need to make sure we need to know what is basically the knowledge that we need to have, the science and the background of it, and also how is basically we can incorporate with all of the knowledge to make it sustain. So that's why for today, I'm going to bring all of you, maybe beyond of your expertise, maybe beyond from whatever that you have done it now, for the contributions for us to the nature, especially for the marine ecosystem. But before we go further, let me introduce to all of you about the global importance of the coral reef ecosystem. We might not aware that the marine ecosystem, they can contribute a lot of things to us, either on sea or even on the land. For example, today we eat fish. We take all of the resources. It's basically coming from the things that inside the seabed, which is the coral, which is all of the resources that we have under the sea. But at the same time, we need to make sure that also we need to be aware that it's also contribute other things to us on Earth. It's not only the fisheries resources. We also need to know that the coral reef also contributes on the coastal sustainability. When we talk about coral itself, maybe we can project something on the slides, on the things on this. Yes, okay, thank you. All right. Through less than 1% of sea floor is basically on the reef support more than 25% of the marine species, right? And at the same time, we need to know that the coral reef also giving lots of the essential human benefit, as I mentioned just now, right? For example, let's say it's giving fisheries resources, right? Coastal protection. For example, I give you simple examples. Maybe some of you have been to Malaysia before, right? Maybe you have been to Terengganu or Kelantan itself, right? In Terengganu, we can say that most of the coral areas is now, affected by the corrosions, and that is basically because of the things that we should be taking care long time ago, but not been taken care of, which is our coral reef. We can say that nowadays in global, more than 15% of the coral reef, right? More than 50% of the coral reef are lost. So meaning to say that we might having problems to get our food resources. We might having an issue to lose our land, And also maybe we might lose a lot of things in terms of the economic resources. You know that a lot of people like to go to island. What is basically normally people do when they go to the island? They wear sunscreen. They do snorkeling, right? Or even they do scuba diving. And we can say that this is basically major contributions to the economic, especially for our tourism. So just imagine, in the future, if let's say there is nothing to see underwater, there's nothing, to attract people to come to our country. So what is basically the resources that basically we can have for our younger generation? So that's why I'm glad that today we have lots of young investors, right? It can be an eye-opener to all of you, right? To make sure that you yourself as the younger generation, you need to think further on this responsibility to make sure that you can contribute something to the nature. All right. So this is basically the challenges, right? The challenges that we have recently. For example, let's say, recently, right? Even for few weeks, we have heard that our temperature is now increasing, right? So when the temperature increasing on land, it also can contribute to our marine resources. The increasing of the temperature, it also can lead to our destructions of coral reef. You can say that majority of the coral reef depleted because of the increasing of the rising of the water temperature. It can lead to the coral bleaching itself. There is a lot of series of coral bleaching that have been recorded and is affecting our coral reef. And this is basically very serious because our temperature is keep increasing every year. Or even now, even in my place, I'm not sure either in Hatyai, how is basically the temperature recently, but in Kuala Lumpur, it's getting hot and hot. Or even in Perlis itself, right? It's getting hot and hot. Even when you are wearing your slippers get shrinking, right? All the things is basically affected. Just imagine what happens to our coral reef if the keeping of the rising of the water temperature. Besides that, also we have impacted by a lot of our destruction made by humans itself. For example, anchoring, right? We have experienced a lot of cases reported by the Department of Fisheries Malaysia, saying that this is one of the reasons why some of the coral reef destructed in Malaysia because of the humans' behavior and everything so on. So this is basically something that we need to taking care of our natural treasure, right? And at the same time, on these particular things, we need to make sure that there is something need to do, because to ensure that the coral been restored naturally, it's something impossible. So we need to make sure that keeping up on the innovation is very important. How is basically we can grow the coral faster? We need to incorporate the science and also engineering. So this is something that I would like to share with all of you. What is basically the importance of it, what we can do, and what is basically we have done before, right? Based on the implementing of the marine biology, on the marine engineering in our restoration effort. So this is basically some of the event recorded by Department of Fisheries Malaysia together with the Reef Check Malaysia. They have done some of the data finding. We can see that from this, right? In 2010, for example, let's say, there is a mass coral bleaching event. The numbers of the corals depleted, right? And just imagine, when the coral depleted, we need to restore it back into its normal, population. And it takes time. By using the normal way on the coral restoration, I don't think that we have 10 years, 20 years to make the coral restore back to our population. So this is something that we need to do. And then again, in 2000, for example, let's say in 2016, there another coral bleaching again. And 2024, recently, last 2 years, there is another major mass coral bleaching event. So just imagine that every about 2 or 3 years after, we are going to have this similar event. So we need to restore the corals back as soon as possible. So this is basically some of the finding that we have done in 2024 by the Department of Fisheries Malaysia. They do some of the finding about how is basically the coral bleaching affected our corals so much, right? You cannot see the colorfuls of our seabed anymore. Just imagine that our younger generation, they didn't know what is basic coral. They only can see the something that white underwater, but they didn't know that is basically a coral. So this is something that we might lose all of the story to our kids later on in future if we don't act now. Right. So this is basically some of the approach that basically we need to do. But before that, we need to talk about the restoration, right? We need to understand but what is basically the active restoration or active interventions is basically defined. When we talk about the coral restorations nowadays, even in Malaysia, most of the peoples, the NGOs, some of the industries, they want to do the coral restoration, but they didn't do the correct way of the coral restorations methods. They just know that they need to do, but they didn't know what they need to do. So this is basically is very important for us to give the awareness to people how is basically we can incorporate this to make this active restoration can be implemented, right? So there is a few of the method that basically we have done, right? Or people have done on the coral restorations. The first one is basically on what we call as the sexual propagation methods. So this is basically the traditional methods that normally marine biologists done. So they are doing the, in situ or ex situ propagations based on the lava and everything so on. But at the same time, the coral can be propagated by using a sexual propagation methods, whereby we do on the coral direct transplantation. So this is basically done in the coral nursery and so on. And at the same time, we have the substrate enhancements. This is basically where the marine engineering comes to this story. When we would like to know more details about these methods, for sure we need to be in line with the areas or the expertise. And just imagine, to make this comes into the reality, we need to have the knowledge. But when you ask me in terms of the the way and the methods that we can implement to restore back the corals, it's basically easiest compared to the things that we have heard before. For example, most people thought about when we want to restore back the coral, we must be the marine biologists, right? We must know how is basically the corals propagate. We must learn about what is basically the science behind the marine and everything so on before we do the corals restorations and everything so on. But when we experience ourselves in my coral project in the last 10 years, for your information, we have started our coral restoration in 2016, last 10 years. So this year is basically our 10th years of the restoration effort. And for your information, we have incorporated these methods of the science and the engineering together to enhance the coral propagation 40 times faster. And it has been proven. By using these methods, we incorporate it together to make it to become the active restoration effort. All right. So this is basically the things that normally people or the marine biologists tell us about how is basically the physiology of the corals and everything. So even though the physiology of the humans and also the physiology of the coral might be very different, but the key point is the same, right? They propagate. For us as the human, we keep, producing kids and kids, right? But together with the corals also, they need to propagate to make it sustain. So we need that. So we need that to make sure that we need to increasing the numbers of the coral. And at the same time, finding the specific species also very important. There is more than 500 species of the corals have been identified. But we need to find out which of the species is basically growth faster. Because we are not focusing to propagate which colors of the corals should be to make it more colorful underwater, but we need to find out which specific species of the coral that can give much benefit. So what we have identified, the Acropora species is one of the examples which can grow fastest. So there is a simple methodology that we implement in our project. So we find out the areas of the corals, or we call it this restoration sites, which have been identified to be suitable restoration site before we do the coral propagation. There is a few of the elements that we need to do before we do the coral restoration. For example, let's say we need to find out what kind of the species of the corals that can be contribute for the restoration. Second one, we need to find out about the environmental factors of that particular areas. For example, let's say on the sedimentation, all right, how is basically the sun's penetrations and everything so on. So we need to do the coral restoration survey first before we did the implementation. So this is basically some of the things that we have done. In terms of the marine engineering, we need to identify what kinds of the innovations or methods that basically can enhance the growth rates of these coral. So this is basically where the marine engineerings work together with the marine biology to enhance the rates of the restoration. So the sustainable, durable, eco-friendly substrates or structure need to be implemented. So this is basically something that we need to make sure that, the structure that we innovate is something that can enhance in terms of the growth of the coral. So it's very important for us to find out the innovations, right? The benefits of it to enhance and enlarge the restoration process. Okay. Right, so this is basically why the integration is very important. The integrations of the marine biology and also the marine engineering is very important because when we talk about the marine ecology, right, the engineering translates into a design, materials, technology, while the marine biology is talk about the physiology, the factors and everything so on, or the coral reefs and everything. So this is basically, we need to work together. Because by using the traditional methods of the coral restorations, we identified that we might consume a lot of time in terms of making up all of these things, right, to restore back to it. That's why when we innovate some things in terms of the substrates and everything, imitate the structure of the seabed, it can be enhance the coral restoration more than what should be. So the emerging technologies in coral restoration whereby the engineering is basically important. For example, let's say now the current traditional method can be enlarged into more technology driven, whereby now we know that there is a 3D printed design, right? So we can use that kinds of the technology to create the structure of the coral reef before we deploy it. For us, we have identified few structure that can be used when we doing it in our coral restoration site. Then there is also few things need to also to be incorporated when we talk about the structure, the engineered structure of the coral reef. Since that now is the digital era, right? So we also need to look into consideration, take into considerations to incorporate the AI also in the coral restorations. So meaning to say that in coral restoration nowadays, it's not only about how we create the coral reef, what kinds of the methodology that we can propagate the coral, but it also need to be included on the monitoring implementation. So we can implement on the AI, on this, on also a digital things that we can implement together when we do the monitoring process. For example, let's say, when we do or we need to do the monitoring of the corals, it takes time and also financial consumes for us to do a regular or daily basis of the monitoring for our coral restoration site. So this is where the digitals needs. So we need to incorporate it together with the AI, together with the drone, together with all of the things that basically we can implement for the monitoring purposes. Right. So this is basically some of the sustainability and also the long-term impact that basically we can implement in our coral restoration. Right. So now I would like to bring you about the implementations of it. So we have find out that the marine biology and the marine engineering should be works together. And based on our experience, I would like to bring all of you on the implementing of these things in your life. So we have the coral restoration site at the Terengganu, specifically at the Pulau Geluk, Terengganu. The reason why we basically choose this location is basically we want to find out the suitable locations for the coral restorations far from the disturbance on the people, for example, let's say people doing snorkeling and everything so on. Besides that, we need to find out the place that suitable for the coral restoration in terms of the environmental factor. So that's why we choose this island to be one of the coral restoration. And on the coral frame itself, we have been implemented four different types of the coral structure, coral frame structure, starting from the spider web. And then we have innovated into the MSU Eco frame, whereby this frame is basically works together with the fast grow coral and the slow grow coral and the fast growth coral together. And this is basically the spider coral frame. Normally people use these kinds of the frames for the coral restoration on the propagation. But we took into consideration on the marine engineering, so we implement the eco reef, whereby on this particular frame, it can use on the different types of the coral in same one parts of the frame. Just imagine, for example, let's say, this project we call it as the marine underwater seascape. It's a micro underwater seascape. On the land, we have the landscape, right? Whereby we have a pot. Each pot you can put different types of the flower. So we implement it underwater. That's why we call it as the MSU Micro Underwater Seascape. So meaning to say that by using the different types of the frame, coral frames, we can find different types of the coral species to be implemented. Because for your information, each coral, they have the defensive mechanism. They can work together. They can sit next to each other, but they can grow naturally. in the specific way. So that's why we need to find out the way that basically we can create this environment naturally. So that's why the coral reef very important. The way how is basically we implement the designs and everything so on is very important. So that's why we innovate this coral reef and implement it in our innovation. And at the same time, we also have been implemented the honeycomb, whereby we decrease the size of it to make sure it more durable and also it more easy for us to relocate if, let's say, the corals, the locations of the frame is not suitable on that particular times. Because for your information, when we want to enhance the growth of the corals, we need to take into considerations in terms of the sedimentation. Some of the places might not suitable because the sedimentation might also can affect the coral growth. Right? So that is the reason why we need to find out the reef that we can easily relocate if the place is not suitable. So that is the marine engineering comes in. And at the same time, we have the castle reef. The castle reef that we have implemented is something that can reducing the current wave to make sure that restoration sites also can be implemented. So this is how we basically arrange our restoration sites. It's not simply like just put it there and leave it without monitoring. So we need to do a yearly monitoring to find out whether that specific restoration site is suitable for the coral growth. So this is basically time consuming and also got a lot of funds need to be implemented. For our project, we have implemented the microfragmentation. So this is basically we use in terms of the knowledge on the marine biology, how is basically the coral growth, and by using the substrate that we create, it can grow 40 times faster, and it's been proven, right? So this is basically the method that we have, and for your information, so this is basically from the coral sites that basically we have done since 2016 until 2022. From the deserted area of the restoration site, alhamdulillah, we can proud to say that 75% of the corals that basically we propagate since 2016, right, are now surviving. Even though there is a few mass coral bleaching have been, affected. A few areas like in Taman Laut, which is Marine Park in Terengganu. But alhamdulillah, 75% of our coral, they are survived. And there is a science in between of it. When we implement the propagations methods and everything so on, the resilience of the corals, all right, makes this coral sustain. Because coral is very sensitive. Even you pick one coral, you want to propagate in different way, it doesn't mean that it can easily be survived. So once we found that the corals can be survived, they might be resilient. So this is something that we need to look into consideration. The way and the method and handling and everything so on is very important. So this is based on the methods of the microfragmentation that we have done by using the substrates and also the methods. We're combining on the substrates. When you look about the picture A, there is a substrates. So that substrate is basically innovated by our marine biologist team, whereby that structure of the live rock, we imitate the live rock underwater. But we're using the specific substrates on concrete, we create that kinds of the particle things to enhance and contribute for the 40 times faster of the coral microfragmentations. So this is basically the event on 2024, right? So and when you realize the first picture that I share with you on the mass coral bleaching in 2024, that is basically at the other area, but this is basically at our area. So we can proud to say that about 75% of the coral, even though there is a mass coral bleaching, they survive. So we have identified few of the conclusions on the importance of the coral restorations, and also how is basically the coral might survive and have a resilience for them to be sustained by using specific methods on the coral propagation efforts. So this is basically the analysis that we have done, and by using and incorporate the coral restoration, right, by using the marine biology and also by using the marine engineering together, we can enhance the coral restoration efforts into the active innovation. So this is something that we need to share with all of you. Okay, for your information also, this effort, it's basically not only about implementing on the coral reef structure and also the marine, the propagation method. It basically also involves us, the community, to make the coral sustain. So we need to have the ecosystem. So the ecosystem is very important. For our project, what we have done, we involve the local community because they are basically the persons that are using that it most. They are the persons that might distract that area most. So we need to educate them. So we need to create the local community for them to aware. So that's why for our MyCoral project, we complete the ecosystems whereby we involve the community, we involve with the industry, we involve with the research, we involve together with the collaborations, with the authority and everything so on, to make sure that the efforts can be sustained. So this is something that very important. Or even in our innovations, to make sure that it can be sustained and also can be used by the others, we need to make sure that we create lots of innovations to enhance the coral restoration. So this is basically what we have done in terms of the coral restoration. Or even we have launched our community learning center for the people to learn about the coral restoration in Terengganu. So this is very important for us to educate people when they use, when they go trip to the islands. It's not only about tourism. It's about their responsibility and also their effort can contribute to marine sustainability, right? So we have done lots of things in terms of the innovation since 2016, but we do hope that this effort can be, also involve other community or even country, or to make sure that these efforts can be done. Or even MyCoral also, we have been implemented last year in Ambon, Indonesia, as parts of our MyCoral project Indonesia, and maybe next we can have also together collaboration with the Thaksin University. Maybe we can create MyCoral Thailand also in future, inshallah. I think that's all for me. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for your time listening on my topic, inshallah. If you have any questions, just let me know. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. And
well, thank you very
everyone.
much, Mr. Muhammad Hairul Nizam Ibrahim, for your insightful presentations on coral restorations. Your expertise and passions in sustainability truly inspire us today, and we appreciate the depth you brought this session in important topics for us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we end the closing ceremony, one more time, we would like to invite the professors Dr. Natapong Chitniratna to the stage in giving the second round of the appreciation to our co-hosts and partners. And for this, I would like to invite the President to come to the stage, please. And for this time, we would like to invite the representative Faculty of Agro and Bioindustry. Thank you very much. And the next one, we would like to invite the Faculty of Engineering. Thank you very much. For the next one, from Faculty of Multidisciplinary Sciences and Entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. The next, Faculty of Economics and Business Administration. And we would like to invite the appreciations as well to our partners. The first is Sentient Lemon Technology Co. Ltd. The representative of Sentient Lemon Technology Co. Ltd., please take your way to the stage. Okay. Okay, so we will have the pictures together. Thank you very much. And last but not least, from Elan Foundation. Okay. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. And for the presidents, please remain on the stage. For now, before we end the sessions of the live streamings, I would like to invite all the co-hosts and the partners to come to the stage for the photo session. And this is remarks as the end of the live streaming today. Thank you so much for being with us in our live streamings.